Hi, this is Anna Rothwell, the founder of Leaf, and I'm with Alex Gray, a professional surfer. We're here to kind of get to know Alex a little better. And so Alex, congratulations on your Teahupo'o award for Best Barrel in Teahupo'o,
Yes.
Tahiti.
Very good
All
pronouncing it. You did it.
All right. So tell us a little bit about that experience. Like, what was that like, and like, what did you feel during the moment?
You know, that was a special day out there. It's being considered one of the biggest days ever ridden. They canceled the Billabong WCT contest because it got too big for them to physically paddle into, which allowed someone like myself who showed up the day before to hopefully get out there and see how big it was actually going to be, and hopefully get behind a rope to tow into a couple of the waves. And I think that all of the expectations of how big that swell was going to be were surpassed. And I know on my own behalf, I watched waves that day that I never even knew could be like that. You know, I was sitting in the boat wishing I had a diaper instead of a surfboard. And I was lucky enough to have, you know, great friends like Raymana, who's the king of Teahupo'o over there, and Makua whipping me into waves. And you know, it was an unbelievable day of surfing, one of the best days of my life, and something I'll remember the rest of my life. And you know, receiving that award for Best Barrel of the Year is really an icing on the cake, because that day is something that, you know, I'll be grateful and so fortunate to have the memories of for the rest of my life.
So during the wave, because when you see the footage from the outside, what was the moment like when you're in the wave and it seems like it probably would be slow motion? What were you thinking during that whole?
Well, that was one of the strangest rides of my life, because right when I let go of the rope and had lots of speed, you know, I started to create my line, which I thought was the right one to make and complete the wave. But I was a little bit too high, and so my weight was off and I shifted back, and I actually fell back on both of my hands, and at that moment the wave spit and I couldn't see anything, and I literally fell onto what we call the foam ball, which is the wave inside itself basically eating itself, and you usually want to be in front of it because that's what usually makes you fall off. But my board still stayed on the face of the wave while my body was bouncing on the foam, and I was actually laughing. I'm like, okay, well, this is the end, you know. And the end never happened, though. It kept going and going, and then eventually the foam pushed me right side back up, and all of a sudden I came out of this white crazy ride mist thing and pulled into the channel and couldn't believe that I actually made it all the way to the end. And you know, it ended up winning the award, but it was one of the strangest, coolest rides of my life.
So what was that moment then, like when you realized you're on the other side, and what was your like feeling like?
Honestly, it's a euphoric feeling. It's hard to remember a wave like that because you're so in the moment, and you know, surfing is so much about feeling.
Right.
And when you start thinking is usually when things go wrong.
Right.
So it is just starting to trust your instincts. And once I kicked out of the wave, it's just, I would look at the video clip and there's an instant smile on my face because I'm just so happy. It's the feeling that we live for as surfers. It's indescribable. It's something that you only know if you surf. And for me, that's what I'm doing with my life, searching for moments like that. And to have made that wave and completed it, and to have survived that day with my friends and been a part of a historic day, it was just a culmination of extreme happiness and just luck and gratitude, really. For the ocean is my playground, and unfortunately some people treat it as their trash can or ashtray. I mean, it's so sad to walk along a beach as you're going surfing and just see cigarette butts everywhere, pieces of trash that people were too lazy to go throw away in the trash cans. And then you get out in the water and, you know, your bathroom smells better than what the water does. And especially on days when it's raining, the runoffs from the streets literally dump straight into the oceans. And you know, I mean, the amount of ear infections and sinus infections that I've had from surfing are tenfold. I can't even count them. And you know, it's pretty typical for a surfer to have to get ear surgery and sinus surgery due to dirty water. And you know, it's sad for somebody who isn't lucky enough to enjoy the ocean and understand its natural wonders, you don't get it. And people will just show up and go, oh, here, I'll put my trash here and my baby's diaper over here, and it's an ocean. There's so much of it. The realization is that we're starting to pollute it so much that this vast ocean that we think is endless is starting to close in. And as surfers, we notice it more and more because we're there every day. And, you know, it's something that's becoming more relevant and noticeable. And, you know, it's heartbreaking for somebody like me.
Well, and you got a really great experience to surf with, not surf, but do scuba diving and go underneath the ocean. So there's a whole nother world that you got to see and be a part of. How did that like affect you? Because you got to surf with the sharks, you got to see like amazing. Yeah,
I mean, you know, if I could be a fish, I would. I wish I could stay in the water all the time, and my goal in life is when there aren't any waves, the best way to stay in the ocean is to go to check out what's below. And, you know, we surf these incredible exotic locations, and it turns out the diving below is just as good as the waves above, and I've recently been able to experience that. And, you know, even the reefs are being affected. You know, especially in populated areas, you know, the reefs are starting to die off. It's not only what you see on top, but you're also affecting the natural ecosystem below. And that in turn is going to start killing your fish. Everybody likes to eat, so it's one big happy family, and it starts from your first footprint on the beach. And my rule of thumb is to leave every beach the way you found it, which is hopefully pristine and beautiful. And as myself as a traveler, I'm a guest and a visitor everywhere I go, so I always try to make sure that, you know, I leave my footprints unscathed and the beach untouched, and try to help out and pick up a piece of trash. It's really not too hard.
That's awesome. Alex, I so appreciate all your support. He's been helping with LEAF and really empowering kids to make a difference through film, music, and technology, to be a voice for the planet. And Alex, you're a rock star for LEAF, and thank you so much.
I got a new album coming out. Don't worry about it.
No, he's a rock star, so thank you so much. And thank you, Northwood High School, for filming and being here, and Waterman Restaurant in Hermosa Beach, thank you for letting us film here, and Volcom for being the rock star brand to support us in LEAF with just a thought in our head. So thank you so much.
Woo!